can't explain. There's nothing quite like it. Up against the deep and blue, I'm blowing excitement. Just turn victory, good time's gonna start. All hands on deck, it's my Edencraft. Just turn victory, good time's gonna start. All hands on deck, it's my Edencraft.
This week, we'll see how the boys are going in the factory with the next stage of the build, and then get back over to check out the fishing in Tumby Bay.
Our transoms are all out of 38mm thermalite now. We don't use timber anymore. Basically what the boys do, once our main layout's done on our hull, we'll roll it back to the centre of our gimbal, obviously template a transom. They'll shape it to what it needs to be, and then we do our layout behind the transom, clamp it in, we leave it clamped in for 24 hours. We'll pull the clamps off, and then the boys do a layup on the front side of it. So here we are at the back of a 6-metre Edencraft Offshore. As you can see, this is our transom. Here in Edencrafts we run 38mm thermalite, solidly glassed in, a couple layers of double bias, some chop running through it everywhere. Thermalite's absolutely beautiful. We use it through all of our products now. It's the best stuff on the market. Eliminates worry about rot, mould, mildew, any of that sort of stuff in the timber. We've got a deck, so throughout the construction of all of our vessels, we use the thermalite, 38 for our dive door knees, 15mm throughout, solidly glassed in. The product's working absolutely awesome for us, and we'll never change. We'll never go back. We're taking a step in the right direction, and this is a product we're moving forward with.
Tommy's here, he's just cutting out the transom for our 233 Platinum to slide over the top. Let's have a look and see how he does it. It's 38mm thermalite with plenty of layers of 1,000-gram double bias in between and over the top. It's extremely thick for a transom, that's why we can put the horsepower on it that we do. It's taken a long time to get this out. Through a 5-inch grinder and a saber saw.
Thermalite's not a new product, it's been around for a long time. People are just starting to bring it more into the marketplace now. It's starting to become more common and a lot of people are finding out about it. The reason that we switched to it a few years ago is because it is that much better. So you won't get any rot, it's mould resistant. The compression strength of it is unbelievable, so you can still use it for transoms, bolting things too, stuff like that. Yeah, we love the product, it's easy to work with. The boys have adapted to it really well, and we find it unbelievable.
Here we are at Tumby Bay, SA, with Tomby Tom this morning. Now Tom, they tell me we're going out to Risby Island this morning, and we're going to camp there overnight, so explain a little bit about that for us if you could, please.
Well, there's 19 islands out there altogether, and they're called the Sir Joseph Banks group of islands, and Risby is the longest, and there used to be an old homestead there. There's a beautiful little sheltered beach, and they call it the lagoon because it's surrounded by small islands and reefs which stops the swell, and it's a perfect spot to camp. Tonight there's a southeasterly wind, so it'll be flat calm in there.
And we're going to have a lovely bonfire tonight and put the snags out, is that correct?
We've got lots of wood we bring out ourselves because there's only bushy scrub out there, and you can't keep knocking that down or you'll be in trouble.
Magnificent. Thank you, Tom.
No problem. Hope we have a good night.
Yes, we will. I think they're a leather jacket. I think Tom's correct because I've made a brand new rig, thrown it over, first bite, whole rig gone. Now I'm starting again.
Just land on that, whatever you want. Yeah, there you go. That's what's giving us grief.
Shit.
And you want him? If you don't, we'll let him go back to his mother.
Let's hear from Grant, his history growing up in Geelong, and how he's ended up owning Edencraft.
Yeah, I went to school in Geelong. I went to Bell Park Tech back in the day, the old technical school. The first job when I left school was in a hardware store for 12 months. And then I messed around for a few years doing bits and pieces. I was an area manager for Pizza Hut. That's where I met my lovely wife, Kerry, when we were doing that. And then I left that and done an apprenticeship as a sprinkler fitter, put in fire sprinklers. Well, we bought a hotel with a couple of mates, and the week before we went to take over, we both went up there to have a look, and there was a big punch up, and my mate goes, I'm not doing this, and we'd already paid for it. So unfortunately I had to quit my job and run the pub for the next 3.5 years. So that was interesting, as Kerry had a 21st up there, and I was only in my early 20s as well. It was great living, but I wouldn't recommend it. Like, we could have made a good quid out of it, but I think we drank a lot of it and partied too much when we were young. But it was good fun, and I'm glad we done it. It was a good experience, but yeah, it was different, and it was something, like, because I'd tried different things before, like only, you know, a little bit of fencing and that on the weekends and bits and pieces, but it was probably my first introduction into real business and how things operate. But we sold the pub, and then I come back to Geelong. We had a house in Melbourne, but we decided, because Justin was at school age, we'd come back to Geelong. So we come back to Geelong, and then I worked for another 12 months just on the tools as a sprinkler fitter. And then I thought, oh, bugger doing this, I'll do it for myself. So I went out by myself 20 odd years ago with AIM fire protection, and just got rid of it only last year. So I had that for 20 odd years, and everything progressed from there. So we had the sprinkler fitting company, and then we bought a hairdressing salon, Kerry ran that. We had that for a few years. Then we sold that and we bought a hardware store. So we had the hardware store for 12 years. And we bought different businesses in between, and then we started Direct Fire Supplies, which is an import company for fire protection equipment.
Now we'll head back to Chris and see how the stringer matrix system is installed.
The next point to the build is we put our stringers in our keel in. So for people that aren't in the know, our keel is the backbone of our boat. It runs all the way from your transom all the way forward to the front of the boat, right down the centre. So basically your backbone, stops any flex, and it really brings your boat together to basically stop it being jelly. Your two stringers run either side of that as well. We run full solid glass stringers that are foam filled on the inside as well, which are joined by several bulkheads down the centre, which tie everything together, and several knees that run down the side of the boat as well. They're what takes a beating when the guys are out going offshore, launching them off 30-foot waves, which I hope no one's doing. But what we run now is a stringer matrix, what we call it. So that incorporates our two longitudinal stringers, all of our bulkheads, all of our side knees, and our keel all in one. So that's a moulded part. Now basically what we do is the boys will lay it up in the shed, we'll pop it off the mould, trim it up, we put it on a nice big brace, keep it all straight. It's installed into the boat, and then the boys chop it in.
The fishing off Tumby's looking good. Lynchy's finally caught one, and he's acting like a big kid as usual.
Come on, fish on! Now here we are, this is Monday morning. We're still out with Tomby. Tom, I always get that wrong, but I'm getting close. Jesus Christ! Have a look at the size of that! It's as big as my leg! Christ, now there we are, there's a big South Australian whiting. caught by the legend himself. What do you reckon, Tom?
I'll be lucky if it's 100 grams.
100 grams. I think it's a kilo, guys. I think it's an absolute kilo.
No, I reckon 600.
No, you're daydreaming, Tom. Have a look at that. That's why we're here. That's why we came to Tumby Bay, South Australia to see Tom.
This is my home pad, mate. The office. There's a little channel when you get up ahead, you can go in that channel.
I've got Davy Jones's locker.
Righto, this is just the entree before we have our barbecue, chops and steak a bit later on. Here we have a nice little 3 kilo crayfish. On this side we've got pickled blue swimmer crabs from Cowell. On this side is pickled calamari. Did you hear about the Irish lunatic asylum that was full? And there was a lot of people in the streets that were really needed help and needed to be inside, and they thought, well, we've got no room, what are we going to do? They come up with this scheme, say, we'll test everybody that's in there, the ones that are okay we'll let them go, and the poor buggers that need coming in here we'll make room for them. So they line them all up. Mick and Paddy are on the front of the line, so Mick goes in first and they do the test. They say, righto Mick, if we poked out your left eye with a stick, what would happen? Well then, he says, I'd be half blind. Oh, you can think all right. Okay Mick, we poke out your right eye with a stick, what would happen then? Well then, he says, I'd be totally blind and I wouldn't be able to see. And they say, well, he can reason all right. You're free to go Mick, you're out of here. So off he goes, and he goes out and tells Paddy, and Paddy's all excited, get the answers right Paddy and you're out of here. So Paddy goes in, and righto Paddy, he says, we cut off your left ear with a knife, what would happen? Well then, he says, I'd be half blind. And I said, oh, you know, we can't let you go. You cut your ear off and you think you're going to be blind. We'll finish the test and cut your other ear off with a knife. What would happen then? He said, well, I'd be totally blind and I wouldn't be able to see. He thinks he's going home, you see. I said, look, Paddy, we'd love to let you go home, but we've cut your ears off and you think you're going to be blind, you know. How can we let you go? Why'd you say you're going to be blind? He said, well then, if you cut my ears off, my ut'd fall down and I wouldn't be able to see.
Yeah. Very good, Tom. Very good. Nice. With Edencraft, the main reason I wanted to buy it, once you've owned Edencraft, you realise how good a boat they are, and you get to know a lot more brands and whatever. And the thing I found that Edencraft was more or less the Rolex of boats, and everything else is a copy to that. That's what I sort of found when I was, and that sort of resonated with me, that I wanted, if I was going to buy something and a company, I wanted it to be the best. And once I got it, even make it better if it was possible. The previous owner, done 6 to 8 to 10 boats a year. And that's been one of the biggest challenges. We had all the moulds redone. There was a lot of infrastructure to be done first. So the first 12 months, I think we built maybe 15 or 16 boats. It was more about getting everything right. So I've had all the moulds redone. And then we started with, straight away I employed apprentices and got a couple of boat builders to train all the apprentices. So now we're getting into our 3rd year. We're going to be going 2.5 into our 3rd year, and all the apprentices are coming along. We've still got all the same. We've got 9 apprentices. So that's how you slowly build a brand to make more boats and to make sure they're taught from the right people. That's why I went and got Chris, who worked for Edencraft for years. So that's what the secret, I think, is like to build a brand, is to do it slowly. If I wanted to make a quick quid, I would have all of a sudden built 50 boats in the first year and it would have been crap. I get bored with stuff pretty quick if it's too easy. And that was one of the problems with aim fire. I'd done it for so many years, I was bored with it. Then with direct fire and that, like,
it's starting to go really well, but it was a real challenge in the first couple of years. And it's the same with Edencraft. That's what I love, a challenge to buy something, make it so it's really good, have the best thing you can have, so people see you down the street and they go, well, you know, he does a good job. That's what I love, like, just, yeah, making something better all the time. And that's my goal with Edencraft, to make the best boat possible. So if someone sees me in 20 years' time, their boat's still Mickey Mouse. That's what I'd love.
The next process basically is lifting our hulls and decks out of the mould. It's a really exciting part, especially for the guys in the laminating shed. They always like to see them come out and know they've done a good job. Everyone likes the shiny shit. So basically, yeah, our moulds are really good. They've been producing boats for a long time, so they always release nice and easy. Obviously, as long as the wax is applied to them properly. But yeah, it's a big thing to know that the product comes out in the expectations of what we have, let alone the customers. We lift them out, we'll run around and we'll check that all of our gel coat finish is perfect. We'll sit them on our trolleys ready for the next build and ready for the moulds to go back in for the next boat. So we take very good care of our moulds. We do a lot of prep work and a lot of detail work to our moulds to ensure that we never get stick-ups and we get a perfect part coming out every time. Everyone knows perfect part comes out of a perfect mould. We've just released the 233 Platinum, the deck, popped it out of the mould, it came out absolutely beautiful. We've lifted it up with our custom-made spreader bar, straight on the trolley, we're ready for fit out.
A day not to be missed, the annual Edencraft Family Day.
It is the Harley Davidson of boats.
We want to thank Joel and Chris in their Edencraft, who left Melbourne to come to Geelong, stopped halfway, caught two beautiful snapper, and they came through, the boys came through. We're going to do them Mediterranean style, one with oregano, lemon, olive oil, and the other one we're going to go a bit of chilli and garlic. Let's feed the Edencraft families that are here to see these beautiful boats. No bones here for the kids. Snapper skin's beautiful, especially when it's this fresh.
Yeah.
Beautiful fillets, ready for cooking. I'm going to use the frame, so it's all about looking good. And we'll season, we'll sit it on the seasoning. Lots of salt, pepper, and we're going to use a bit of oregano. Bake it with the head on, tail on for a bit of, it looks better, it's aesthetically pleasing, a bit of chilli, a bit of garlic. We're going to go a little bit of oregano on the fillets, and with fresh fish like this, keep it simple, And with a good boat like an Edencraft, keep it simple, put a good motor, fit it out right, and everything else is done for you. The hull's right, the design's right, you can't go wrong with an Edencraft boat. So our snapper we caught this morning's cooked, and time to see what the people at Edencraft think of our beautiful snapper. We'll just finish it off with a bit of lemon.
I've got a second-hand option.
I'm going to get you guys to try my snapper. And please be kind, yeah?
Thanks, mate.
Actually, it tastes good.
So I've got garlic, chilli, olive oil, salt, pepper, oregano. It's Greek style.
Magnificent. A really hot though.
Good. I don't even like snapper.
It's fresh, it's local, it's caught off an Edencraft. You can't go wrong.
Perfect.
How can you go wrong?
Now one last word from Grant.
One of the funniest things that happened, I took BJ, who works at Edencraft now, I took his father out in my Edencraft a few years back, and he had a couple of beers and might have one too many, and we had a big bin in the back of it for the fish because we used to catch a few, and hence he went tail up straight into the fish bin and lost his phone in the fish bin, and I think he sat there for the rest of the way back. Being born and bred in Geelong, down around the coast all the time. Probably my main passion was every year we went to Pambula with my grandparents, so I'd done a lot of surf fishing, and it just progressed from there into boats. And yeah, some of my friends had them, and when I started getting a little bit more time on my hands, I bought a boat, bought the Ocean Master, probably about 13 years ago I bought that. It's a tri-hull, so it's in between a cat and a munai hull. A little bit different boat. They're really solid on the water, like they don't rock or anything at rest. They're good like that, but to drive I wouldn't say they're the best driving boat going around. So when I started going offshore more, then I started looking for a deep V hull that we could bash out there and go in like rougher weather and know you could always get back. And everyone was talking about Edencraft, and that's how I ended up buying an Edencraft about 10 years ago. Just asking around my mates what the best sort of boat that I could get to go offshore, and everyone seemed to kept on selling me about an Edencraft, so I went to the factory on a Friday afternoon I went into the factory and just to have a look. I walked out 2 hours later owning one, to the great pleasure of my wife when I got home. She thought I was joking, but I actually did buy one. It was good, it was exciting to see your boat, call in there and see your boat getting done. Sometimes you think it's not fast enough, but that's just what happens in the boat industry. But that's one thing we're trying to improve, get our build times down, because I know the frustration and things hold things up. Vinnie Rowe it was called, after my father. My father died just at the end of the build of the boat. So he was sick, he had cancer, and he watched the boat getting built with me, so I named the boat after him. When it was first done, took all the family out for a drink and celebrated. Yeah, it was good.
It's something that you can't explain. There's nothing